Hello, so for today we are going to talk about website and newsletter introducing Saudi stars from our book Lift Off. So now let's read, then answer some questions about the reading. Julia's story. My dad worked as a teacher at an international school in Malaysia for 4 years. 3 years ago, the school closed, so we returned to London. My dad started a new job in a school in Riyadh last year. My mom and I stayed in London for 2 months so I could finish the school year. We arrived in Riyadh 9 months ago. Dalal's father teaches Arabic in the school where my dad works. Last month, Dalal's mom phoned and invited me to meet Dalal. We are good friends now. So, if I asked you a question, what is the tense of the whole paragraph here? Like, is it in present or in the past or in the future? Of course, it's in the past. How can we know that from the verbs here? Like, for example, my dad worked. The verb is in the past tense. 3 years ago, the school closed. My dad started. My mom and I stayed. We arrived. So here, all the verbs in the past. So the whole passage is written in the past tense. So how do we know the past tense? That we start with subject, then verb to, which means the past of the verb, then the object. For example, she studied English yesterday. So here the verb is studied, which is the past tense of the verb study. Also, we have she went to school yesterday. Again, we have the verb went here is in the past tense. So we have two kinds of verbs here. We have regular verbs and irregular verbs. Regular verbs, like for example, it's ending with ed, like the one here, studied. Also, we have a irregular one, which is not ending with ed, like go. The past tense of it, it's went. Okay. Now, let's practice the pronunciation of regular past tense verb endings. These are the sounds. We put them between slashes, like for example here, da, ta, would. Okay, so if we are going to write them in the verbs, like there will be, like for example, in played, da, played, as in washed, washed. See, it's not da, it's ta. And as in waited, id. Do you see it? Waited. So these are the pronunciation of the three regular past tense verbs. Now we have the time phrases here. It's tell you when something happened or how long it lasted. For example, I learned English for 3 years. So how many years did I learn English? For 3 years. So this is the time phrase for 3 years, okay? For example, if you go back to the reading, we are going to find the time phrases from the text. So, my dad worked as a teacher at an international school in Malaysia for 4 years. This is a time phrase. 3 years ago, it's a time phrase here. Also, we have last year, 9 months ago, now, for 2 months, last month. So all of these are the time phrases that we can find it here. It's just telling you the duration of time that this thing happened, okay? Now, ask tag questions and correct them. So we have some examples of tag questions. For example, number 1, the school closed for 4 years ago. So the school closed 4 years ago, didn't it? Okay, so we put did because it's in the past. The verb here closed. Didn't it? No, it didn't. It closed 3 years ago. So we answer the tag question, then we correct it, okay? Julia's dad started a new job 2 years ago, okay? Julia's dad started a new job 2 years ago, didn't he? So again, we used didn't because the verb is in the past started, and he because we are asking about the father, okay? So the answer, no, he didn't. He started a new job last year. Also, we have Julia mom stayed Paris for 2 months. So Julia and her mom stayed in Paris for 2 months, didn't they? Again, the verb here is in the past, so we put did, and of course not. Then they, because we are asking about Julia and her mom. So the answer, no, they didn't. They stayed in London for 2 months. The last one, Julia and her mom arrived Riyadh 3 months ago. So again, Julia and her mom arrived in Riyadh 3 months ago, didn't they? Because arrived is in the past, and Julia and her mom, they are plural, so we use they. No, they didn't. They arrived in Riyadh 9 months ago. So we learned the past tense, the regular verb, irregular verbs, and the sound of verb like that we said ta or da or id, and the time phrases with tag questions. Thank you for listening.